Let's look at a few examples to identify the property that justifies the statement. In this first problem, we have 3 plus the quantity 4 plus 5 is equal to the quantity 4 plus 5 plus 3. So this is all addition. And if you notice, 3 here was in the front, and now 3 is in the back. So the 3 actually moved. So this is an example of the commutative property. When we state the property, we should also state for which operation it works for. The commutative property does not work for subtraction and division. In this case, this is the commutative property for addition. In this example, we have 4 plus negative 4 equals 0, a very true statement, and we use this property all the time when we're solving an equation and we add the same thing to both sides of the equation. We're usually adding something to make it go away. So 4 plus negative 4 equals 0 is an example of additive inverses. 5 times 6 times 8 is equal to 5 times 6 times 8. Well, here if you notice, inside our parentheses was 6 and 8, and now inside the parentheses is 5 and 6. That really is the associative property when you regroup what you're multiplying or what you're adding. And in this case, again, we have to state the operation, which is multiplication. In this example, 2 times 1/2 equals 1 is again the property that we use very often to solve an equation. When we're trying to get x alone, we multiply by the reciprocal, which we refer to as the multiplicative inverses. Since we're already indicating its multiplication, we don't have to state the property again. 3 times the quantity 2x plus 1 is equal to 6x plus 3. This is how we use the distributive property. If there's multiplying on the outside and adding on the inside, then we can actually distribute that multiplication. The distributive property is the only property that involves two operations: multiplication over addition. The only time you can use the distributive property is when there's addition involved. So don't try and use it when there's logs or square roots or exponents. The distributive property only works for multiplication with addition. 0 plus negative 4 is still negative 4. This is a very important property to allow you to actually solve equations. That when you add 0, you don't change the value of what you're adding it to. So 0 added to negative 4 is still negative 4. So this is referred to as the addition property for 0, or the additive identity, where when you add 0, you get the identical thing still back. And here our last example, we have 4 times 0 is 0. This is very helpful when we're trying to solve equations that have variables and there's more than one, especially when the variable is raised to a power like the power 2. Then we'll use this property, which is called the zero product property. It only works for products. As you can see here, it doesn't work for sums. If you want to get 0 as your answer, you have to multiply by 0. So it has to be multiplication. You have to multiply by 0.